Kerwood, and please don't forget to submit your questions through Slido. So if you have any remarks, comments, questions, or anything you would like to ask our speakers, please do so at slido.com with the event code ETL19. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. So I'm Toni and this is Zara, and we are from George P. Johnson. We're going to give you a brief introduction as to who we are and what we do, and then we'll move on to why we believe in the power of mobile. So as I said, we're from George P. Johnson. If you don't know, we're an experienced marketing agency. We are 105 years old, founded by George himself, and it's still a family-run business to this day. It's his grandsons. And he was a really interesting man. He was a pioneer, he was an inventor, he invented many technologies that we still see today, like the turntable at motor shows. And he had a mantra that was to make no small plans, and that's one that we still believe in now. And we're really fortunate to work with some really progressive brands like IBM, Cisco, Google, Nike, and McLaren. And with them, we create these experiences, and we'll be talking about them through this talk. And they are there to help those brands connect with their audiences, change behaviours and shift perceptions. In our London office, we are made up of creative thinkers, digital innovators and production experts, and our network extends to a further 30 offices around the world. So a new mobile landscape. Our world is shifting and changing exponentially, and mobile technology are the ones that are leading that. We know that all brands have the power to transform their profitability and enhance their reputation amongst consumers through smarter investment in mobile. And also events and live experiences are a key part of the customer experience, so we really wanted to understand how we could take advantage of that. Mobile is growing and growing, and you're probably all sitting with one of them in your hand right now.
Within that landscape, the toolkit is growing, and we've managed to split those technologies into 4 categories, which we're going to talk more about today. The first category is discovery, and that's all about finding information in the moment. It includes voice, visual, and personalized search. Then we've got identity, and that's all about your personal information. So we've got data such as personalization, facial, voice, and fingerprint recognition. Then we've got engagement, which is really exciting in events because we're trying to create emotional connections with our audiences. It includes the immersive technologies, and as these mature, they're able to be used more on mobile. And then finally, we've got improving service, and that's the chatbots, the agendas, the ticketing, and it's all about how we improve that customer experience. So we've set out to realise the power of mobile. So I wanted to ask you guys a couple of questions. So who here is already using mobile as part of their event strategy? And who feels like we haven't yet realised that full potential of those technologies? Yeah, we thought the same, and that's really why we embarked on this piece of research.
So, yeah, we went through a really thorough research process. We started it off by kicking off with a breakfast roundtable. The insights from that, we created a qual and quant survey, and from the results of that, it informed a panel discussion that we hosted at our office a couple of months ago. So, who did we ask? We went to 100 business leaders, so CMOs and CTOs. We went to spokespeople from corporates like RBS. And we went to mobile startups like Strava and Seatfrog. And 41% of those said that they consider themselves early adopters. So that was really good for us to know that we were talking to the right people. Oh. And 92% expressed plans to spend more on mobile this year. So that was a really good proof point that they agreed with us that there's opportunity within mobile. One of the questions that we asked within the survey was which developing technologies are they prioritising? 14% said facial recognition, 19% said voice and visual search, 32% said AR, and on top was chatbots at 34%.
We wanted to find out why that was. So was it due to convenience or the maturity of those technologies? And that's what we asked then.
Yeah, and we believe that it's probably the consumer adoption of these technologies already that also led to these results.
Mobile-centric businesses have led to great expectations from consumer. You can now effortlessly order a taxi from wherever you are in seconds with Uber. You can do all your shopping on your mobile with Amazon. And you can watch all your favourite shows on Netflix wherever you are.
And 93% of those that we surveyed agreed or said that these businesses, the mobile-first businesses like Uber, Amazon and Netflix, are driving up that consumer expectation of brands.
And from that, we knew that mobile was a habit creator. So we wanted to explore that more, and we know that we need to be constantly researching those habits as they change and develop. And with brands spending even more money in mobile, we knew that those habits were going to relentlessly change over time. So we wanted to explore what these CMOs thought were the top benefits of mobile and see how we could apply them within experiences and events. So they cited that 43% said that they could get more engaging brand interactions. 47% said they could create more convenient product and service delivery. And 48% said they could create more targeted brand interactions. So we're now going to take you through a few examples of how we think this can be applied within our industry. So firstly, we've got convenience. We're lucky enough to work with Nike across their stores and with their brand ambassadors. They want to tell them about all their new products, and they had a training website, but they were really struggling to get people to it. So we created an experience using the mobile wallet, which you might be familiar with from your boarding passes or your event tickets, but we've been playing around with it. We realized that we could use it as a communication channel as well, so we can send push notifications to people that have downloaded a pass onto their phone. And we knew that our audience were digital natives, always on their mobiles, and we knew that would increase the convenience of them getting that information. So we created a campaign which ran for 3 months, which had a 97% engagement rate, which was far higher than it had ever been before.
And for more engaging, I wanted to use an example that came from Will Harvey. He's an innovation lead at Diageo. And when he spoke on our panel discussion, he shared an example of how the drinks giant used a mobile activation at the Six Nations rugby tournament. What they knew is people watching matches and games are usually on their mobiles at the same time. So they used this information and they tailored the activation to be supported by this second screen behaviour habit. So the app was created not to detract from the game, but to enhance it. This was able to add this kind of added commentary over the top, which was complementary, which therefore enhanced the experience and made it more engaging.
And the final benefit and how it can be applied is more targeted. So we work with IBM across all their events globally, and that means working with their technologies every day, so their cloud and their AI. So we've created an events app for them, but we wanted to take advantage of some of those technologies within it. We used AI and beacons to create intuitive journeys, chatbots, and recommendations for each person in that audience, so that we could create a more targeted and curated approach to the event, so we can get the right information to the right people at the right time.
But with all of these opportunities also comes some barriers. Mobile isn't just challenging because it's a habit-shifting channel, but also because it creates some barriers. And 97% of those that we surveyed said that there are challenges around realising the potential of mobile within their own business.
So some of those top challenges that were cited were 26% said that integrating platforms into their current architecture was a real barrier, so innovating on top of those legacy systems. 24% said they lack confidence in new tech working, and I think we've all been there. And 21% cited the speed to return on investment. So knowing when to launch new technologies is really important. So when we sat down with our panel and our roundtable, we wanted to explore some of those barriers and maybe find some examples of how mobile-centric businesses are overcoming them. One of those stories was Vitality. We had a big discussion about this in the roundtable, and it was very interesting. Vitality are a really mobile-centric business. If you don't know them, they're a health insurance app, and they use Apple Watches. They give them to their customers, and they track their activity. So the more active you are, the more rewards you get, which can only be good for them in the long run. And using that technology, they were able to utilize some of this new technology within that business system. So we then spoke at quite a length about this in the roundtable, and one of our experts said, I'm actually a customer, and the difficult thing with it is that sometimes when we're using new technologies, they're not that accurate. So they were using the Apple Watch, and it wasn't rewarding them how it should be. And that is a real reflection on that customer experience, and we need to be really careful about that. So we wanted to explore some ways that maybe we could avoid that in the future.
And a good example came from Jake Morris. He's from RBS Commercial Bank. He was on our panel discussion with Zara, as you can see, and he talked about smart prototyping. And he talked about how they take an approach that's much more like that of a startup than it is of a big corporate bank, where when they were launching their app, they went out to a much smaller testing group, so of around 100 people. And of those 100 people, they interviewed about 25% of them face-to-face, just to ask them questions about their experience of the app. So by doing that and using that beta testing group, they were able to gain feedback of that experience and take the learnings from that and know how to scale up this mobile solution. And this then resulted in a quicker ROI.
And our final example is Cisco. Being a leading technology brand, they really want to push using technology in their events. We're lucky enough to work with them on Cisco Live EMEA, and we work with them on it every year. So it gives us the opportunity to iterate those technologies that we use. One of those that we thought was really interesting on mobile is facial recognition. We could see the enormous value of this technology, but we know that there's some difficulties with people being worried about their private data being used. So we decided to create a 3-year plan with them to try and build up habits around the use of this technology. So in the first year, we created just a pure fun activation using it. Got people using it, got people forming habits around it, and then we deleted their data straight away, and we told them that we were going to do that. And then in the second year, we started a trial to use it in our registration system. So you could sign up, use the technology, and you were rewarded from doing this. You had a fast queue within the event. But we didn't make anyone do it, and then they were rewarded for it. So then we want to get more people using it year on year and build up that habit around it.
So hopefully that's given you a good insight into the research that we went through. We're really fortunate through the experience that we have and the experience of our network to get to a place where we were able to produce these results that we've then been able to inform the live experiences that we create for our clients. So we thought we'd round up by just sharing our top 4 steps to success. The first one being to identify a real business challenge.
Second, work with partners that know when to launch a new technology.
The third one is to understand your consumer need.
And number 4, trial technology on a group of trusted customers.
And everything that we've spoken about today, what we've shared from our research and our surveys, it can all be found in our white paper, which Lauren can share with you if you would like to take one away. And thank you very much for listening.
And before you go, we actually have some questions. So you can see them on the screen, and the top upvoted question is, in mobile-first product strategy, what are the most critical elements aside from design?
Yeah. So I would say understanding the audience first, being really important. So we work with our team of strategists to understand the audience, the business problem, before we ever get to choosing a technology or designing an experience. And those are the critical first points.
Do you want to add anything? Or?
No.
No? Okay, good. So the next question is, what should you do to implement a mobile-first strategy in a brand?
I think, again, it goes back to some of the steps that we said at the beginning, which is first be shoring of the business challenge that you're trying to solve and understanding that consumer need. Jake from RBS was really honest with us in saying what they thought their customers wanted was actually very different to what they really wanted. So definitely kind of asking yourself those questions at the beginning.
And then what is the latest, most important trend in digital marketing? So for me, I love the immersive technologies, and I think in terms of engagement, they are really exciting. They're starting to mature, and as they become available in the browser and on your mobile, I think that they are really interesting.